In this video, I want to talk a little bit about the importance of figuring out your perfect digital nomad life. Or I shouldn't even say perfect, your ideal, or maybe I shouldn't even say ideal, but figuring out a digital nomad life that works for you. And to encourage you, if you are thinking about this but you're looking at other people and just not seeing anything that fits, I would say that's okay. Like, that is 100% okay. That is a sign that you have something, a lifestyle ideal, you have something that you want to achieve that maybe not that many other people are doing. And if you wanna move abroad, but you can't, you see people that go from place to place to place, and you're just like, "That does not work for me." I just want to encourage you that it doesn't have to. Like, you can design, that's the beautiful thing about this, you can design your own lifestyle and your own cadence that works for you. I've talked about this in another video, but with most countries, those of us that are in the United States, we get 90 days in that country before we have to leave. And some people flit about constantly. I look at them and I'm amazed because I couldn't do that. And I know that. And I'm so grateful that I have that understanding of myself that I cannot bounce around like that long term. I need stability. I need to be steady in one place. I need to, yet just have times where my I know that I'm not leaving a place for a while, right? But I think something that's difficult is that you might meet people or you might look at people and they'll tell you that this is the way to do it. And I think that that is dangerous a little bit. I've had many people try to tell me that I should change and do this instead or that instead, or what if you do this and what if you do that? And I'm so grateful for age because with age comes wisdom, and I'm able to, much better now. I'm stronger on my own 2 feet saying, no, thank you. Like, that does not work for me. And I don't want it to. But your cadence or your rhythm of moving can look like whatever you want it to be. There is no rule book that says you must do it a certain way. Aside from getting out of a country when your time is up, you can put together a lifestyle that works how you want it. And I am so grateful. I didn't know how big of a thing that this would be when I started out, but I started traveling with my cat, and she helped me kind of build this lifestyle that I didn't even know that I wanted exactly. But because of having a cat, the entry requirements to go from country to country, the paperwork required, all of that kind of stuff, it adds, just a much bigger layer than just being able to be like, okay, here's my passport, I'm off to the airport. And so I knew with traveling with her, I did not want to move around that often. I wanted to stay in one place for as long as possible. So my first place, I went to Colombia. I stayed there for 5 months. I then went to Peru. I stayed there for 3 months. And then I came to Ecuador where I stayed for 2.5 years or something like that because of the pandemic. So moving with her, I wanted a slower pace of life. And I wanted her to acclimate to the places that we lived before changing it up. Um, because a lot of times, I don't think we think about our pets and that they are sentient beings too. Like, they're alive and they need certain things. And I know that for cats, they can be uncomfortable in new areas and stuff. So I wanted to acclimate her. So traveling with her made it just a very slow and peaceful cadence, which is what I needed to start. And then I realized even after she died in 2020 that I wanted to keep traveling that way. I have my pockets. I have trips where I will go here and do this and that and the other. I'm thinking of 2022, I think it was, where I had about a 2-month travel trip. I went to Egypt, I went to Jordan, I went to Qatar, I went to the UAE, and then I went to England, all before coming back to Ecuador. And I was exhausted. I was exhausted. But that was more of a vacation trip. I was working some during it, but it was a lot more, I'm gonna go and hit all these countries because of the timing, the way things worked out. I'm gonna do all that. And I could do periods like that, but I can't live like that. And just because someone else is doing it, I can look at them and admire the mind and the logistics and the planning and all that they do to do that. But I can also look at myself and go, that's just not how I work. That's not how I want to live. Your nomading journey can look like whatever you decide it will be. There were people in the beginning that told me that I couldn't travel with a cat. They were like, "That's just insane. You can't do that." I did it, and I meet loads of people out here, oftentimes not online, but just in my travels, passing people who are doing things in the way that works for them. And one of the things, there's a lot of lovely people in the travel community for sure. There's a lot of lovely people who will give you so many tips and wonderful advice. But you will also meet other people who give their advice as if it's law. They look at things as one way and only, like their way of doing things, and they dismiss things that are outside of that. And it makes me wonder when I look back reflecting, I'm like, have I dismissed people? Have I um, thought my way was the highway? Which I know I have in some ways, not necessarily with travel, but with other topics and things. But um, it's there's a lot of helpful people, but then there's a lot of people who will try to steer you toward what they imagine that this lifestyle has to look like. And just be aware of that, but also be aware of just like anything in life, you are the ultimate expert on your own life. You get to decide what you do with it. You get to decide how it looks. And for me, mine has changed. It has changed drastically over time. There are periods when I want to travel, when I am so energized and when getting on a new plane every so often, like to a new place, like it gets me. And then there are times when I have just come home and crashed and just been like, I don't want to see a plane for a while. And I'm grateful for my friends. I'm grateful for my friends. I have a lot of friends who have listened to me over the years as I've gone through these peaks and valleys of feeling low and feeling slow and not wanting to do anything. And I do think that a lot of that ties tied into my understanding and realization that I am neurodivergent, and I've been on that journey for the last couple of years trying to figure out that. But with my increase in understanding of how my brain works, it has also made my travel life make so much more sense. And the times that I struggled, I can look back and see, okay, I was trying to do something that was very incompatible with how my brain works. And so I'm very hopeful for the future that I'm going to have lots more just kind of mellow where I can feel what I need and then give myself what I need. Right now I'm in Ecuador and I do have some travel coming up. I haven't decided yet. I haven't bought plane tickets. I haven't got a place to stay, but I feel like it's time to move on, and I think it's going to be a pretty hectic period for a bit, and then I know that I'm going to give myself time to smooth out again. So it's a journey. I say that all the time, but it really is. And I think that you don't know what you need necessarily until you get started. So if for you, you need to keep going back to the same place over and over, then that's great. And that's how you want to do it. If you are someone who never wants to go back to the same place and you always need new places, like that's fine too. I think there's just so much in this world, not just with travel, but with life, of other people trying to put you in their box. And I think that for a lot of us, we need to make our own box. And oftentimes, what we don't realize is that one box is not going to be good enough for the rest of our life. We're going to be in a box and then we're going to tear that box down and then we're going to get another box and keep moving like that throughout life. So make your journey whatever you want it to look like.